Mishnah is Yevamos, Parak Beis, Chapter 2, Mishna Gimel, Mishna 3. Okay. Klal Amr Yevama. A rule was stated, a general rule was stated regarding a Yevama, meaning regarding a woman whose husband has died without children, and now she is in a state of Yibam. Kol Shehi Isser Erva. If she, the woman who's married, now again, we're always talking about two brothers, right? And one brother is married to a woman who is an erva. She's in the category of an erva, a woman who's forbidden for him to marry, and she in the category of erva. That is what she is, meaning this man's sister-in-law is an erva to him, and his brother has another wife also. In that situation, when the brother dies without children, and both the erva and the co-wife are, as we say, falling to yibam, lo chayletzes v'lo misyabemes. There's no chalitza, there's no yibam. That's what we're saying until now. If the wife, if the brother is married to a woman who to his other brother is an erva, and he has another wife, both of them are going to be exempt from any kind of yibam or chalitza. That's the rule of the erva. If it's an erva who is coming to him for yibam, there is no mitzvah of yibam on her, nor on her co-wife. So that's what we've been saying until now the whole time. Now, the next category is like this. Isuri Isra mitzvah. Let's say the woman that we're talking about, again, the sister-in-law, who is falling to yibam, is not an erva, but she is what's called an Isser mitzvah. She's an Isser, she's forbidden to marry because of a mitzvah. What does that mean? That is what we refer to as a woman who is forbidden to marry according to rabbinic law. We know from the Torah lists us a number of arayas, a number of women who are called an erva, that marrying them carries with them some kind of a punishment of death. And then you have women who, according to Torah law, are perfectly fine to marry, but the rabbis decreed that they may not be married. That is what we refer to as a woman whose prohibition is a Isser mitzvah. It's a prohibition because of a mitzvah. Which mitzvah? Mitzvah l'shmaya divrei chachamim. The mitzvah to listen to the words of the sages. But that's another way of saying they're rabbinically forbidden. Mm-hmm. Or Isser kedusha. Let's say the woman that we're talking about now, again, the sister-in-law, is again, she's not an erva, but she's forbidden because of sanctity. Sanctity meaning she's forbidden because of the sanctity of the Kohanim. She's a woman who's not allowed to get married to a Kohen, right? That woman, the Torah prohibits her to marry the Kohen, but if the Kohen were to marry her, is there any kind of death punishment to it? No, there isn't. It's a lav, it's a prohibition. So when a woman is forbidden because of Kedusha, she's forbidden because of the sanctity of the Kohanim, which means she is a Torah prohibition to marry, but she does not carry any kind of death punishment. There's no capital punishment. There's no karis. There's no what we call karis, spiritual excision. We know that, but I think that's what they call it. There's no karis. If there's none of those, then that's what we're referring to here. Either she's only rabbinically forbidden, or even if she's Torah forbidden, she's not carrying the status of an erva, she's not carrying any kind of death punishment. In that situation, when she is when her husband dies without children, and she now comes to a state of yibam to her brother-in-law, chayletzes v'lo misyabemes. She can't go free because there is still a yibam connection. If she's not an erva, there's a yibam connection, and therefore she can't just go free. But you can't do yibam on her. You can't actually perform the mitzvah of yibam because she's forbidden to cohabit with. She's forbidden to marry. And therefore, in that situation, we say, not that she goes scot-free, but she has to get a chalitza. She has to receive chalitza from her brother-in-law, and that will free her, but she does not have yibam performed on her. Now, next case. Her sister who is her Yevama. Now, very often we have the word Yevama to refer to the woman who needs Yibam. She's now in a state of Yibam. If you have your sister-in-law, right? The woman who let's say the woman who could potentially fall to Yibam to your husband is also called your Yevama, your sister-in-law. Meaning your sister-in-law through marriage is also called the woman's Yevama, because potentially, right, this woman could now land up coming to Yibam to her husband. But in this context, we're reading it as Achoisa, her sister, Sheyevimta, that's her sister-in-law. Two sisters married two brothers. Okay? Two sisters married two brothers. Now, but the story is that one of those sisters, okay, we got to try to make a case here, okay? Brother one, brother two, okay? Brother one married Rachel, brother two married Leah. Of course, sisters, right? Rachel and Leah.
Two brothers married.
Two sisters. Now, so we have brother one married to Rachel, brother two is married to Leah. If, let's say, Leah to brother one is actually his former daughter-in-law. This is former daughter-in-law. Okay?
Sister.
No. Besides being a sister-in-law, besides being that it's his sister-in-law, it's also his former daughter-in-law, which means that she's an erva to him. Okay? Get that? Now, she's an erva to him. So the Mishnah says like this. In this kind of situation, we say that you've got these two sisters, right? Married to two brothers, right? They're now sisters and sisters-in-law, and one of them is also an erva to the other brother. And now the brother meaning like in our case, Leah was a sister-in-law was not only a sister-in-law, was not only his wife's brother, she's also his daughter-in-law. So there we say that in that situation, and now that brother dies, that brother who is married to Leah, now the actual brother one dies. No. Brother two dies. Brother two dies, okay? And now what happens is that woman's an erva falls to the first brother. There is no connection to her. And therefore, the Mishnah says, you can do a chalitza or yibam. So I really need to explain this a little bit more. You have a following case. Listen to this. Whenever there is a yibam bond between a man and a woman, anytime there's a yibam bond between a man and a woman, they are considered to be married in the sense that he might not marry her mother, sister, or any other relatives. It would be considered an erva to him if she were his wife. So you have a woman who now, a regular case of yibam, right? Brother dies. The sister falls to Yibam. Now, the wife falls to Yibam. Once that wife falls to Yibam, there's a Yibam connection between this man and woman. According to rabbinic law, we see them as married. Now, when you marry a woman, can you marry her sister?
No.
No, not as long as the sister is alive, right? Can you marry her mother? No. Right? We have a number of relatives of this woman. Once you marry a woman, there are a number of relatives that you cannot marry. According to rabbinic law, once there's just a yibam connection, even if there's no actual yibam that takes place, but there's a yibam connection, we consider that according to rabbinic law like they're married, and all the relatives of that mother are now forbidden to this man. Okay, so in a situation like that, accordingly, if two brothers were married to two sisters, and the brothers died childless. Okay, the third brother may not perform yibam with either widow, since each one is a sister of a woman with whom he has a yibam connection. You get that? You've got three brothers. Two brothers are married to two sisters. Both of them die without children. Both of them now fall to yibam to the third brother. Can the third brother do yibam on them? No, he can't. Why? Because both of them have a yibam connection to him. They're both sisters, so each one is like his sister's wife. His wife's sister. Sorry about that. Each one is like his wife's sister, because each one has a yibam connection to him, but they're sisters. The yibam connection says that the sister of the woman he has yibam connection to is like his wife's sister. He can't marry her. So that is the starting point of this part of the Mishnah. Okay? There's a halacha called achais zikukase, the sister of the woman who has a zika. Zika means a yibum connection, a yibum bond. Okay? Now, what happens though in the following case? And I didn't say the case right before. I apologize. What happens if, okay, you had the three brothers, right? Two brothers married two sisters. You got this one brother. Let's say one of those two sisters that are married to your two brothers is to the third brother an erva. It's his former daughter-in-law. It's his mother-in-law. It's his mother-in-law. His brother, when the two brothers married two sisters, one of them was an erva to that third brother. Okay? Right? Now, in the case now when those two brothers die, do we say that those two sisters are each one as a sister of a woman who has a zika bond to you? The answer is no. Because since one of them to the third brother is an erva, there is no zika connection at all. And therefore, the other woman who's not an erva is not a sister of the woman who is bound to you for yibum. The other woman is not bound to you for yibum. She's an erva. That's where the Mishnah says that. So on that other wife, she has a full. She can do yibum on her. You want to do yibum? Do yibum. You don't want to do yibum? You do chalitza. But the point is that in that case, that's what it means. Achaisa shehi yavimta, her sister, who's her sister-in-law, and the meaning her sister's a sister-in-law, and who is her sister-in-law, and she is an erva to the third brother. In that situation, the other sister, she could have chalitza or yibam, because there is no situation here of a sister of a zakuka. Because since one of the sisters is an erva to the third brother, who they're falling to for yibam, there is no yibam connection at all. They're not considered married at all. And therefore, the sister is not any kind, even rabbinically, is not your wife's sister. And therefore, you can go out and do yibam or chalitza on her. Okay?
No.
Okay? But that's the case over here. The case over here is you got three brothers. Two are married to two sisters. But one of those sisters is an erva to the third brother.
Yeah.
So when both of them fall to yibam to the third brother, so now when two brothers die, both without children, both of them now would seemingly be falling to yibam to the third brother. But since one of them is an erva to the third brother, there is no yibam connection to her at all. And therefore, the other sister is not the sister of the woman who's bound to you for yibam, because there is no bond for yibam since she's an erva. And therefore, that other sister can have yibam or chalitza. She has a full-fledged halach of yibam, because there's nothing saying that he can't marry her. If she wouldn't have been an erva, if she wouldn't have been if one of those sisters would not have been an erva to the third brother, and you just have two sisters falling at the same time to the third brother couldn't do yibam, because then each one is the sister of the woman who was connected to him for yibam. But in this case, that's not true, because one of them is an erva. All right. Now, back. I guess I need to be drawing more pictures. Maybe that'll help. Is that going to help? I'll draw more pictures, Richie?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, so fine. So now the Chaim was talking about where if somebody has a bad trait, that you're allowed to go ahead and go to your students, to your children, and warn them about not associating with this person. The mitzvah saper levaer hatam l'mesaber b'knusay shel chaverei. The problem is you're going to go over to your child and say this person has a bad trait. Okay, you need to explain now. That child is going to look at you and say, "Isn't that lashon hara?" Mm-hmm. So you got to go ahead and explain to them why you're doing this. You got to explain that in a situation where I'm trying to help you not learn bad things from this person, then it's not lashon hara. First, and the child might think, or the student might think it's okay to speak lashon hara, or he's going to look at you and is going to be looking at you as a hypocrite. Because sometimes you're teaching the child or the student not to speak lashon hara, even if it's true. And now you yourself is speaking lashon hara. And therefore, it is important in that kind of situation that you should explain why you are doing this, why you're doing it. The reason I'm telling this to you is because I don't want you to learn from them. If I wouldn't be doing that, it would be lashon hara. But it's not lashon hara because, in fact, I'm doing it to make sure that you don't learn bad things from the person, not because I'm just trying to put the other person down. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Rabbi.